man?
There he is.
What's good?
Good brother.
Damn.
Glad we got to do it.
Yep.
A man from Transformers.
Yeah, Anthony Ramos of Hamilton.
I don't do musicals.
Trolls too.
Bro, yeah. Christian Wilkins, the D tackle, loves Hamilton. He invited me twice, sent me the StubHub tickets, and I'm like, bro, I ain't about to watch that. But now I know you're super talented, bro.
You should have went, Chan.
Yeah.
You should have went, bro.
I know I should have. Now I see what's going on.
Missed out. No, but it's in the theaters right now, you know.
Yeah, no. Let me hold $5.
Yeah. I got you. Hold on. Where's my wallet? There's my wallet over there. I didn't want to bulge.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
This is Anthony Ramos. This is Fred Taylor. I'm Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder. This is the Pivot. Pivot fam, thank you for pivoting with us. And this is a real pivot for us. And I think the reason you're cool for this show is the many things that you dive into, the way that you can, whether it's acting, whether it's on Broadway, on screen, music, you can do it all, dance. But I want to talk about, one, why would you answer the phone in the shower?
I do it often. I mean, which time? When
time you found out you got into AD.
When I got into college, that's right. You know what? I talk on I probably shouldn't, but I talk on the phone in the shower often. Like, I don't know, I always pick a spot where I just keep the phone and I'm lathering and shit, and I open the curtain, I'm like, yo, yeah, nah, that was crazy. You know, and washing the hair, I'm like, yeah, nah, I remember when she said that, she was wilding, you know, like, I don't know why, but I mean, but that call changed my life, though. That was crazy.
Talk about that. Tell us about what it's like, you know, when you're told you should go to school there and you have that level of talent from the things you were able to do in high school, but you actually get the phone call.
I remember I got a call from, I don't know where he is now, but he was so cool. This guy named Marcus Carter. He worked at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy here in New York. And he was like one of the heads of admissions, and he called me and told me I had gotten into this musical theater school. I didn't grow up watching musicals. I didn't, Broadway's expensive. So I didn't necessarily go to Broadway shows. I didn't listen to soundtracks, none of that. But I always liked performing. We used to do like these improv shows at Thanksgiving or like at Christmas for the family, you know what I'm saying? We do like the first Thanksgiving, or we do like some wild shit. You know, we would just make something up in the room, and we were all between the ages of like 8 and 12, and we're doing like bullet points of like, all right, this is what we're gonna do first, this is what we're gonna do second, and this is where we're trying to end. And then we come out there and make whatever costumes we could from the closet or whatever that our aunt had, and come out and do a 12-minute to 15-minute like skit for the family. That's kind of like how it kind of started. And then, go get auditioning for this school. I had a teacher in high school named Sarah. She helped me with the audition material. She paid for the application. She, everything worked with me. Like, I get into the school, Marcus calls me, that shower call. And next thing you know, I'm hyped that I get into the school, but then I get the packet for how much the school's gonna cost. And it was like $33,000 or something like that a year. And it was just wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up in the projects. Like, my mom raised 3 of us by herself. My mother made $31,000 a year. So it was like to take care of all 3 of us. And so it was like, seeing that number was crazy. And I was just like, I don't know, just like my whole spirit just like deflated when I saw that packet. But my mother kept saying, she's like, don't worry, Papa, God's gonna make a way, don't worry. And I'm like, yo, better make a way soon.
Hey, he ain't made that way forever.
I was like, yo, like, but thankfully, she had a lot of faith, and Sarah too, this teacher and me, and Miss H. I had a couple teachers. Jason Jacobs was my first counselor, where I had my first therapy session ever. It used to be me and 3 other young men. We used to sit with him and just talk about our problems, talk about what's going on at home, and that was the first time we had ever done anything like that. Like that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that. It was just all these teachers, my Coach DeMarco, my baseball coach, but these people who just really like advocated for me. But long story short, it was basically like I get that call, can't afford it. Sarah gives my name to the Jerry Seinfeld Scholarship Foundation. He had a scholarship at the time. I go and meet a woman by the name Kate Fenneman, who actually, she texted me this morning, Kate. She's like, yo, Aunt, it's crazy seeing you talk. I was talking to Sonia Sotomayor, the Supreme Justice. I was co-hosting the Today Show with Jenna and Jenna Bush, and she's like sitting next to, Sonia Sotomayor, and like her being like, I know you like da 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 da. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, it's legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And having that. Just having that opportunity. I had a point. I don't even know why. Oh, Sarah. Yeah, I'm like drifting. Yeah. I was just still high from that experience. But basically, she gives because Kate texts me, right? So basically, Kate was the head of the Scholarship Foundation at the time. I meet with her. She's like, Sarah writes her a long letter about me, like, yo, you got to meet this kid. And I was like, yo, well, has she seen my grades? I don't want her to like. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to meet her, and then she see my report card. She's like, yo, nah, like, what we gonna do with this? Because for sure, like, my shit was horrible. Like, not horrible, but it was like a solid, like, C. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But it was nothing, nothing special. But she decided to sit with me because she was like, yo, like, I don't know, like, you wrote this long letter about this kid, at least I'll sit with him. And I just sat across from her and I said, look, man, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I've been through a lot of shit. Like, my father was on drugs, we had a lot of violence and things, like, in our home, outside our home, like, in the community. Like, I grew up, like broke and shit, like, but I was just like, I just need a shot. I just need a chance. Like, I need someone to take a chance on me. She's like getting pretty emotional. I'm emotional. I mean, I shared a lot. I was just like, I'm gonna just tell you the truth about what I went through as a kid. And I'm not saying that what I went through was an excuse, but I'm just saying that, like, this is all I've been dealing with as a kid. And finally, thanks to, again, like, teachers like Sarah and Jason, I started to process it for the first time as a teenager. And I'm like, damn, like, I got mad trauma and I got, like, real problems that I didn't even know were not normal.
Yeah.
And like,
but bro, that doesn't build a Broadway performer. That doesn't build actors. A lot of times you hear about those hard times and it may be athletes or people that do other things. It doesn't say that kid becomes someone who expresses themselves through art. So how did that sort of upbringing, those sort of traumas process themselves out to get you to this point then?
I think when you think about growing up in the hood, you gotta be an actor every day, right? It's like, you gotta maneuver. You gotta know the right thing to say to get out of trouble over here. If I don't got money to eat that day, I gotta know what to say to the lunch lady to help to, or I gotta know, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I was in high school and the cutoff for free lunch for students, your parent had to make $29,000 or less. My mom made 31.
Right.
My mother, I also wasn't living with her at the time. I was living with my aunt because she lived closer to the school. So it was more convenient. It also, she lived in a better area, so it gave me an opportunity to kind of like be in a better neighborhood, for 3 years before I had to go back to my mom's house in my senior year. But by the time I got to senior year, still, right, 29,000 cut off, 31,000 she's making. So I got to pay a quarter for lunch. I couldn't afford the quarter sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I could not afford a quarter. So I gotta talk to the lunch lady like, yo, Ma, what are we doing? Like, that patty right there, that's not even worth a quarter. Let me on this line and let me eat.
Right.
And she like, nah, I can't. So now I gotta find another lunch lady. Yo, miss, Fulana over here don't wanna let me on the fucking line. Can you let me on the line?
Right.
Maybe. Now she looking around like she's smuggling some shit. I'm like, yo, you not committing a crime here. Just let me on the fucking line. Now you don't know the difference. Who's getting the quarter? Nobody knows where these quarters are going.
Look at the patty.
Let me on the line. Yo, so fine, or sometimes I have to ask a friend, like, yo, can you just go get me a tray or whatever. Or I make friends. Thank God I made friends with the shorty that worked in the school store. So whenever one of the lunch ladies was being stingy, I go in the school store, I be like, Ma, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me work a little 15 minutes for you. I go, I used to like schmooze with her and shit. And she give me Doritos and cookies and, whatever to hold me off to get through school. And thank God my ex-girlfriend's, God bless her, Cindy, I love you. My ex-girlfriend Danielle's mom used to have a change bowl she collected every week. So she throw her change every day, and the supermarket Wallbounds was right next door. So I used to she used to give me the change every week at the end of the week. I go to Wallbounds, and I'm like, yo, so I'm exchanging the change, and you can change it for cash. So I would have like $20 for the week sometimes. So I have to stretch it. It's just shit like that, but you gotta always be acting all the time. Like, damn, these 5 dudes chasing me, but like they following me home right now. Fuck. I don't wanna get jumped.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
but bruh, like it's something we do with we've asked a bunch of people, like, is it nature or nurture? It's like, was your talent created because you singing on Trolls and shit and Hamilton? You know what I'm saying? You doing these movies, you acting like you had to do it to survive, but was that God-given talent or was that created once you were already here?
it was, I always could sing, but I wasn't like seasoned or anything like that. I didn't have voice lessons. I didn't grow up doing dance classes or nothing like that. Like, I started dancing on the boardwalk in Coney Island in Brooklyn, like with the OGs, with the baby powder on the boardwalk and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I started.
Yeah.
I would just learn from them. I would see them moving. I see them like flowing. And I'm like, damn, like I just learned from them. And I was like, shit, this ain't ballet or jazz or tap, but this is movement. This is fluid. This is fluidity. I'm watching these people just live. I'm like, damn, if I could just learn that, then maybe I can learn something else. And then maybe I can learn something else. And singing, singing was a thing that I could do, but I wasn't great at it. I had to work at it, but I had my first voice lesson in college with my teacher, Christy Kelly, who is amazing. She really taught me how to sing. That was the first time I thought I could only sing up to this certain note. She's like, nah, you actually have this. Like, no, this is what a vocal scale is. This is what is, this is what a vocal warm-up is. And I had never experienced that. And I was like, oh, damn. Like she started to really open my eyes to, needless to say is I got that scholarship from Jerry Seinfeld because of Sarah writing a letter. Kate gave me a chance. And I get into AMDA, the school here in New York, musical theater school and film, and I go for 2 years, and that was when I took my first dance class, and that was when I got my first acting class and my first musical theater class. So now I'm learning about all these composers and playwrights, and I'm learning about musicians, and I'm singing Cole Porter and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I played baseball, bro. I was an athlete. Like, I didn't do none of this shit.
Right. But speaking of that, sports, right? You follow a team now?
I'm a Jets fan, man.
It's all good, bro.
They look okay.
I was just there at the game. I was just like, damn, guys.
That's cool. So Channing and I both went to University of Florida, and Ryan went to LSU.
Yeah.
Our teams met each other. So RC proposed a friendly bet, right? And you would think it would be 2-on-1. But it was 2-on-1. And he's a Gator, I'm a Gator, so he switched out on our team.
Right.
But this is perfect because there's a lesson in loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Bro, I ain't seen somebody with their ass whooped. The Gators about to get their ass whooped. I knew it.
100%.
So now Anthony got to school you on loyalty because he had an opportunity to continue growing the industry, but he decided to turn down a part in a project by Miss Beautiful J-Lo, because his homie, Mark Anthony. Why'd you decide to make that decision when you had an opportunity to grow in this industry?
The thing about it is like, I think sometimes you gotta be like, look, whether or not my perception of the piece was correct or not is neither here nor there. Me and Jennifer never talked about it. I don't think we have to either, you know what I'm saying? But it was just more like, I read it. I felt like it resembled a person who was my friend. Mm-hmm. I never asked her about that relationship. I never asked him about their relationship. But I was like, what I'm not gonna do is get in the middle of something that I was never a part. Like I'm not gonna be in the middle of it anyway, right? But I didn't even want to take a chance of potentially like, I just like, I don't know if what I'm feeling is true, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, you know? And I'd rather not play this role that seems like this might resemble a relationship that maybe could have been theirs, but it's not. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, ultimately, I think she understood that. And honestly, like, yeah, I don't know what that would have done for my career, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying?
Doing
Like, my
pretty good.
career is all right. Thank God. I'm sitting here with y'all.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but me and Jennifer are cool.
Right.
Me and Mark are cool. Like, there's no beef. But, you know, I always gotta do what I feel is right in my heart. And if the tables were turned in reverse, I would have done the same for her.
So this is, and I don't know if you've been asked this question. I think it's a perfect question for our show. Hamilton, A Star Is Born, The Heights, right? You've played these parts, these very artistic parts, and there usually seems to be like there's a certain level of talent that goes in that. And the question actually doesn't have anything to do with that, in the sense of you have very hood values. I mean that as a total compliment. Right? In the sense of this. Right? In the sense of this, that's y'all business.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of it. That's not the way Hollywood seems to work. Is it difficult for you to navigate Hollywood with the way that our principles are built based on the ways we grow up?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it has been difficult. Sometimes I walk into rooms and I'm like, nah, I don't wanna be here. I don't fuck with nobody in here. And maybe that's not the most Hollywood thing. But I'm not gonna schmooze with you for 15 minutes if I don't got nothing in common with you. What the fuck I'm gonna sit here and talk to you for? About what? So where you from? New York? But you're living in LA now? How's that transition? I don't wanna do this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know.
Yeah.
Standing there with the executive, they're like, yo, that's the executive or whatever, the studio or whatever. You should just go say hi to him. Or that's the executive of the whatever brand or whatever that we're trying to get the deal with. You should go shake his hand and go kiss his ass. And I'm like, I don't care, bro. I don't care, because you know what? Like, I want you to fuck with me. I want you to work with me because you like what I do. I don't want you to have to find out from the employee of the employee who was talking to the other employee that they like, no, you should talk to that guy because he's the whatever, the next thing or whatever. Nah, if you don't know who I am, bro, it's cool. We don't have to. I'll go over here and make the smaller deal with somebody who really gives a fuck about what I'm doing, and I'll build with them and we'll create something fire, as opposed to me trying to go out because you producing the next fucking Jurassic Park? I don't care. Why? Because you won 3 Oscars and how many Critics' Choice and SAG Award? I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, yo. Because at the end of the day, like, the further I get into this shit, the less I want to just work. Like, I don't feel like doing shit that I don't want to do. And like people are like, but what about, like, don't you want to get ahead or don't you want to be? And I'm like, you know what? I am ahead. My bills are paid. I own property, I got businesses, by the grace of God. Like, my mother's okay, my brother and my sister, I'm chilling. I don't know if that makes, you know what I'm saying?
It's not like people chase money. People chase money.
Yeah.
And as you talking, like, you probably could have made more money.
For sure.
Or even had more fame if the code switch, is that the thing the kids call it nowadays? You know, we way older than you, because you know.
I mean, look.
Code switching, but code switch, figured out, whatever, but just stack bread. Why aren't you just stacking bread?
No, I'm stacking bread.
I know you stacking bread, but you can stack more bread.
But I could, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, I definitely had movies where I turned down and the money was nice, but the role just wasn't, like, yeah, it hurt. Like, I'm like, fuck. Like, you know, like, that was a hard one to say no to, but, because of the bread, but like, I'm reading the role and I'm like, damn, but like, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? What do I want people to know Anthony Ramos as? One of the most elite actors that ever did it. I don't want them to know me as one of the most famous actors that ever did it. I want them to say he's one of the best that ever did it. So in order to get there, I gotta make the right plays. I gotta look at the whole thing and be like, all right, that's 3 months of my life. They don't want to work around my schedule. I got this performance over here for this new single that I got out, whatever. My music is just starting to do that. Like, I got to look at the whole trajectory. Like, I'm like, okay, I got to do that, but I got that performance there. I won't be able to do that if I do this film. Yeah, the money's right, but you know what? That opportunity, I don't know what's going to come of that, but that right there is more in line with where I want to be or where I want to go, or that smaller part is more important to me that they paying me nothing for than this bigger role, or rather this bigger movie, you know, and I maybe have to do that here because that's gonna push me further, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, and at least in the plan in my head, you know, like, and it's tough, yes. I mean, it is hard to, you know, I remember, I mean, I got offered a deal from a brand.
I was just gonna ask you, what's the most you ever turned down? If you say something crazy, I'm diving on you. If you say something crazy, and I'm diving on you.
No. It's not, the most I ever turned down was like $2 million. So that's not.
It's not what?
That's a lot. That's a lot of money. But look, but no. But let me tell you something. No. But this is, but no.
I didn't expect. I wanted to. I would come.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But what I'm saying is, that deal, I turned it down, but that deal came back around. Because the stipulation I have. So when you talk about you know what? I'm tripping. It was more than $2 million. But it was only
You brought your brother here because you knew.
No, but look, I'm not even trying to flex. It's really, it was really more like, it was more because that deal, there was one bullet point that was really important to me that they did not want to meet me on. And I was just like, all I said was, I want to be able to put my own song in the campaign. And they said no. So I said, I don't want to do it. My team was like, what? I don't want to do it. This one thing is really important to me. And if they won't do that, I'm willing to do whatever they want. But that one right there is really important to me. And then they conceded on the deal, and we were able to, we worked it out. And it was, look, complete blessing, right? Just because you turn something down doesn't mean it goes away.
Right.
But sometimes they do, right? More times than not, they do. But like, you know, I've turned down like certain roles that thankfully came back around. Like, and they met me, but like I had to say no to the job, and it was so hard to be like, I can't do this. But like, I gotta stand on what matters to me. Like, I wanna do this job. I want to make this money. But like, yo, like, if this thing over here means more to me, like for example, there was another job that at the time, right, I was gonna get married. Massive movie. I said no to the film, and they were offering me about the same, maybe more, actually more than that. And I was like, am I smoking crack? And anyone else in my life would have been like, yes.
Also, too, that's like a very like project drug you just went to.
What?
To say smoking crack.
Yeah, right, yeah, super.
Hey, that show you where you
super
grow.
project drug. But I basically was like, yo, like, I can't because I'm getting married. And finally, they came back to me and said, first of all, I turned it down. My team's like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm like, yo, I can't move this wedding. I can't do it. Finally, they said, we will work the production schedule around your wedding. And I'm talking about, it's a multi-million-dollar movie. And thank God, like, I mean, and you know, the wedding didn't happen, but still, it was the principle of like, look, I told her we was gonna do this,
Principles.
and I don't want to let her down. I don't want to let us down, and take a job and disregard the fact that we've been planning this for however long we've been together. You know, for 6 years or you know, like we've worked towards this moment, right? Am I crazy? I don't know, maybe, but thankfully God worked it out still for me. Like it was meant for me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. I'm starting to realize too, like, yo, when you really stand on what you believe in and you really like, sometimes, yeah, what you're gonna do is the thing that people think is crazy. They're like, your friends, your family, and I don't talk about this shit with people because like they'll be like, you're a psychopath. But, you know, my brother knows all this shit because we talk about it all the time, but when you stand on what matters to you and you really, really, really like lock in on that, everything that's meant for you is gonna fall into place around it, I think.
So what about being like more ethnically ambiguous then? When people tell you, if you know, maybe if you weren't so Puerto Rican, or maybe if you spoke a certain way all the time, or had a certain look, you could do more things.
I mean, I used to get really insecure about that, you know? Cause like, you know, I don't know, I walk in the rooms and I don't know what they were expecting, but like the casting directors or the people, you know, the people putting these movies together, people putting these shows together, especially in musical theater, like, again, it's not like where I grew up, like nobody gives a fuck about musicals. Nobody's watching musicals. No one cares about musicals. They're like, I don't do that. Like that's whack. But that was only because like we weren't educated, a lot of us, to that, right? Like it was all about sports, right? But you think about sports, right? It's cheap you get a football, you could play.
Yeah.
Get a glove and a baseball, you could play catch. Get a rinky-dink, get a shitty bat somewhere, and now you could play a game. Get a basketball, we got courts everywhere. What we doing? Those were the sports, those were the things that we grew up with. And you know, we Latinos, so we fucking love baseball. You know, we playing baseball. Now, my brother was all state. My cousin was like all city. I wasn't none of that shit. But you know what I'm saying? I was good enough to, you know.
What, Coke bottles and the broomstick?
Coke bottles. We playing Skelly. I don't know if y'all know Skelly, where you put the candle wax in the top. This is, you know, this is some hood shit. You know? You're like, and you draw out a square in the middle of the floor, and you put like numbers. There's 9, 8, 7, whatever. You gotta hit the Skelly in the 7. You go to the 8. Then you hit the other person out. Like this is the shit we did to keep ourselves busy.
But even we all have similar upbringing, right? And we come from these, you know, variety of demographics. And you said, you know, from where you come from, nobody with Broadway. Nobody wasn't going to plays and this and that. But once you made it, and your people had an opportunity to come check you, like what was that experience like for you and for them to see you, you know, dressed up and going over your parts and going all that stuff? How was that experience?
Honestly, being on Broadway and you know, having that experience, my friends coming for the first time, it was a lot of their first Broadway shows or like second Broadway show. And the first one was like when they, like Uncle took them when they was like 12 or something, you know? So like they coming and seeing me on Broadway, like some of my boys from like childhood, like my boy Chris, who I've known since I was 12, Wildhood, like OD. But like, you know, like seeing him pull up and being hyped, he's like, yo, blood, that shit was fire. Like, yo, just like that. He's like, yo, like, that's crazy. I don't even like Broadway, but, you know, and like, just seeing people in my life get excited about a thing that I've been excited about for a long time, since I started it, but that was in high school. And seeing them see it in that way on the biggest stage was so special, man. Like my father, rest in peace, when, you know, him coming to see the show my dad passed away 2 years ago, and like seeing my father, like his reaction after the show, and like seeing him after the Transformers premiere. I still have a video. That was the last thing my dad came to, and I put a thing in the movie. Like I try to put one thing for my friends in everything that I do. Like just one thing that they'll only know. Wow. So every time in every premiere, they laugh. Like they laugh when that thing comes up. Like I'll say some shit like, yo, we in the mix. Like we in the mix is a thing we say. So I said it at Transformers, like I'm looking around like, we in the mix. And then out the whole row, they like, oh shit! Like they all go crazy. Right. Like they all go nuts. But my dad, we put this little nugget in there. We used to do, me and my brother, we still do it, but my father used to be like, yo, put it there. And I'd be like, he'd be like, home team. And I do this with my little brother in the movie. I go with Dean. Dean Vasquez was an incredible actor, and we like home team. And that was a thing that we still do. Like we text each other, and I'm like, yo, Al, thanks for helping me with that. Or blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, yo, Ant, thanks. I'd be like, home team. Wow. And it's just like little, like little things in every movie that your friends will know.
But as you progress, as you get success, and not having that relationship with your dad, I went through something similar. Mom and dad got divorced. Mom says dad ain't shit. Dad says mom ain't shit. So now I was in that mid-ground of a little dumb kid sitting around like, damn, I'm about a bunch of not shit ass niggas. Yeah. Like you be like, damn. But then making ain't nobody shit.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody shit around me.
Right.
But then now with your dad, and even speaking about him now, and having a dad on drugs, and then getting that relationship built back. You seem very family oriented, but having that separation, but then growing up as a man, and that's what I had to do. When I became a man, I'm gonna make my own decisions on people.
Yeah.
And then I done got back with my daddy when I got to the league, and I was like, man, this dude cool. Like, I'm a fool with him. What was the, I guess, the maturation of y'all's relationship? And how could you help anybody out there that going through that? Because when I read your story, I'm like, oh, I'm pointing like the little Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like.
It was a process to get good with Pops. I mean, that took a while, man. Like, it was tough because it was like him and Mom weren't together, and I think that I was used to that, but it was just more of like every time we kind of let him back in, he would do something again to let us down, and then we let him back in again, and then he'd do something. So it was just over and over and over and over and over. But then I realized, as I grew up, I said, you know what? I think there's a way to deal with him in a way where I can still love him. But I think it just starts with forgiveness, though, at the end of the day. Like, and number one, it starts with forgiveness. You gotta forgive a person. You gotta forgive yourself, and you gotta forgive them. Period. I don't blame him for anything he did. I know I'm not gonna make excuses for him, but he had a hard life, and he dealt with his life as best as he could. Was it in the best ways? It wasn't, but he tried his hardest. Sometimes someone's best is not, in the world's view, good, but it was his best. And I had to just accept that. Yo, he is trying his best. So what are the boundaries I can put up in my life where I can still be able to love him, but not put myself in harm's way? If I know he starts shooting at 6 o'clock, maybe I shouldn't be near the house. Like, start shooting, like theoretically, like not.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, if I know, once he gets a drink in the system, once this, how can all right, if I know that I can only talk to him on the phone for 30 minutes, maybe 40 if the conversation's good. But I gotta cut it off. Even if it's going great, I gotta cut it off just in case it goes left, before it goes left. Just putting up, like, trying to figure out thank God, I've worked with my therapist for a few years now on this too, in these later years before he passed away, but it was always like like a project. I'm like, okay, well, dad's tendencies are like this, and so are mine. So if I get like this when he does that, how do I prevent myself from being in a position where that could potentially happen to me? Maybe I don't hang out with him here. Maybe I hang out with him in a park, not at a bar.
Yeah.
Maybe I take my dad to the movies and I don't take him to a game. Yeah. Right? Like trying to figure out how we could be together, but in a safe way. Right. And in time, it really benefited our relationship. Like, were we as close as I wanted to be before he died? No. But were we as close as we could be? Absolutely.
And that's a distinction. I love the way you put that, though. You know what I mean? Like, you were as close as you could be. Like, I think that's all we as humans can do to work to build a relationship, but we can only control us. Right. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add to that. You mentioned, because you're preparing for a marathon right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's wild.
26.2 is crazy. I can give you 3.
What he about to
and
do?
I'm done.
What he about to do?
I'm like, yo, you
He about to run a marathon.
So Freddie T, though, so yesterday, so when I was texting him about the show, right, I was on TV. And so it's the commercial, and he texted me back, but it was the voice, like he voiced message or whatever it is. And so I had to read it because I couldn't play it. Right. And it was like, this is not making any sense.
Translation was crazy, bro.
It
was like, yo, tomorrow we got to fight, but we're going for it. But I was like, bro, I
was like, what is this? he said, I'm training for a marathon. I said, got it.
Bro, you too talented. Don't die.
No.
Your ass about to die. You about to run how far?
26.2 miles.
Bro, man, listen, go sing, whatever. You have a beautiful voice.
Nah, do your thing, man.
For what? What are you doing that for?
He's been retired 10 years and hadn't worked out. So don't listen to that one.
Man.
Remember, we talked about loyalty, right?
Right.
That ain't the one you want to deal with.
Come on,
but
man.
No, I was going to get to, because you talked about your dad, in the thing that I saw, you say you had to stop in the middle of, while training, while out on the road running, and you just broke down crying.
I did, yeah.
Could you share with us kind of, what that moment was?
I'll never forget it. I know exactly where I was running to. I was running up some hill in LA, man. I was in Beverly Hills, like running, and I was running up this hill, and this shit could not be harder. It was just so difficult, and it was one of my first runs in training. And this is my first marathon. Like, I've not necessarily been a runner before, but I'm just running up this hill and I'm just like, yo, this shit is terrible. And yo, I just start breaking down. And I just start calling out for my dad. Yo, it was the most wild experience. Like, I'm just like, Dad. I'm like, Dad, I need you, man. I'm like, Pops, please help me. Of all the people I could call out to, but I'm like, Dad, I need you. Please help me. Please help me. And I'm running up this fucking hill, and I'm like, yo, this shit hurts. And I want to quit so bad right now. I'm like, Dad, help, please. And then I start calling out to God, and I'm like, God, like, Dad, God, and Dad, Mario, like, both of you, if y'all hanging out, please help me. You know what I'm saying? And, it was, it was just an experience I can't really explain, but I've been finding that, like, on these runs, man, like, when it starts hurting, I start to, like, I'll get like an idea about something, or I'll start thinking about a person that I wasn't necessarily thinking about.
So is it therapeutic?
100%. 100%. I had no idea. This shit is, it's just like when you pushing your body, I mean, y'all know, y'all played at the highest level. When you pushing your body to the limit, I don't know if this has happened to you guys, right? Like, where you're just like, it hurts, but you gotta think of something that's gonna get you through to that next moment, or like, I don't know, like, what has that been like for you guys? Like,
It's the finish. It's gratifying.
Yeah.
I think it's the process too, though.
Yeah.
Right, it's when you cross the finish line, you have obviously reached your destination, but everything you learn to get to that point is what you take with you. And, that brings me to asking this question. You talked about being on Broadway and your homeboy coming there saying that it was, a great show and it was fire. But You say that like it wasn't Hamilton though, right? Like there are Broadway shows, and then there's Hamilton, and I haven't seen it. My daughter has, and she would make us watch it on Disney Plus all the time, right? And the first time, I'm not gonna lie, I was hating. You know what I mean?
Damn, Ryan.
I was, dog. Hey,
Sound like Channing. Y'all should have came together.
here's the
What the fuck is going on here?
Hey, my daughter got the tattoo and everything, and I
That's why.
met
What's this?
I met Lynn at WWE.
Oh, yeah. He loves that.
He was sitting right behind me, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I know this, and I know you might." I was like, "Can I take a picture with you and send it to my daughter?" My daughter goes crazy. It was off Broadway in New Orleans. She went, but when you are a part of something that ends up being so big, how did it feel during it though? Right, because it grows into this big thing. While you're performing, do you know it was received the way it was?
When we did it off Broadway, that was the first time I felt like we had there's one show that sticks out to me in particular, right? It was like Busta Rhymes, Spike Lee, Manny Patinkin. There's a bunch of people in the audience. They all I'm talking about as soon as the lights go down, they jump to their feet. We can see them. And they're just applauding. They don't want to stop applauding. And I see Spike like this. Like in the middle. And I'm like, oh shit. So we bow, and then they come back. Spike's like, yo, let's get a picture. I'm like, oh shit, Spike Lee wants a picture with me? That's crazy. And then like, all these amazing people we're meeting back there. And this is off Broadway. This is only 300 seats so far. And then Busta Rhymes gives us like a 30-minute speech about how he's just inspired by what he just saw, and how he's like, yo, y'all got the king in the thing. I'm about to change my whole shit for my tour. I'm on tour right now with all his rings, and his, Bus always got like a fat ass chain on.
Right.
So the shit is clinking while he's talking. And he's like, yo, I'm telling y'all, on God, that shit changed y'all changed the whole game with this shit. Y'all don't understand. Y'all for real spitting up there. And like, but he's saying this shit, and I'm looking at him like, damn, yo, this is one of the greatest rappers ever. Yeah. Like, giving us props. And, I'm like, and we're all just super like attentive, hanging on to every word. That was one of the first of many like amazing moments with that show. But that was one of the first, and it really stands out in my mind. Plus him being from New York, being from Brooklyn, like he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like every time I see him, he shows me so much love. He gives me like the biggest hug, like, and it's but like that was one of the moments. I think that was the first moment where I said, damn, I think we got one here.
Like you said, you read the scripts and you turn down stuff. I'm still hot with you about this $2-3 million thing.
No. But thank God both of those worked out.
Okay, but
They
do you
did.
know, like
By
when
the
you
grace of
read,
God.
like when Hamilton came up, you was like, oh, this is special. When this came up, this is special.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I wasn't turning shit down back then,
they
though.
were like Anthony Ramos.
Let's get that straight.
I was like, Transformer dude. Yeah.
No. I was saying yes to everything. I said, what? You want me in a donkey costume in the back? You need me to hop around 3 times and make a donkey noise? I got you.
But do you know like Hamilton was about to be that? Transformers was about to be that.
Hamilton I knew was special, and like Transformers, and the way Steven wanted to direct it, and the way he wanted to cast it, and the way he just was so fearless with the way he was, he had a monster. That movie was like a $185 million movie, and he was coming off of Creed 2, and I think Stephen Caple Jr., man, is a workhorse. That guy is so talented. He's so smart, family oriented, and he just he was just a beast with it. But when Hamilton, like the first time I heard the demos, they were just demos. They were just like if somebody put their phone out and voice recorded. That was what they gave us to learn the songs. This was before it even went into production. We were doing like a workshop for 4 weeks. It was still developmental. And when they gave me those voice notes to listen to, I was like, I couldn't stop listening to it.
Star is Born is one of my favorite movies.
Wow.
it's also like really, really sad.
So sad.
Right, and you know, you play Ramon in that movie, but like the level of talent shown in that movie was so high, right? From the acting to the music, all of those things. What were some of the things you took away from the experience of filming that movie that has helped you moving forward?
Watching, well, Stephanie, Gaga, crazy, like work ethic, like you wouldn't believe. Like unreal. She's a special human. You know what I'm saying? Like just this fucking ball of power, bro. And but watching, that was my first like big set. Ever get into a set and be like, damn, these are what trailers look like? Like, wow, like, yo, that's a crane. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like they're gonna shoot a big scene on that one. Like, you know, Bradley made me do 4 auditions for that. You know, and I did like 2 tapes. Then he wanted me to fly to LA to do a reading with the cast. And all of them are like, we can't wait to see you on set. And I'm like, oh, do y'all know there's an audition? Like, this is not, I'm not in the cast yet, but I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see y'all, man. It's gonna be great. Yeah, man, I'll see you guys soon, you know. And even that night, I didn't even know if I could make that work. I was singing in Arizona, I had a gig in Arizona. They're like, yo, we need you to fly to LA this morning, do this reading, and then I'm like, yo, but I got this gig this evening. They're like, this is the only way you're gonna get this job. So I'm like, shit, like, I don't wanna get sued by these people, but I also don't wanna lose this opportunity. So thank God I flew 45 minutes to LA. I did this reading with the cast, and I hopped straight back on the plane, and they told me I got the job on the way back to the airport, and I was able to make my gig that night in Arizona. But that was the first time I had been on a set like that, and I think the biggest, you know, which I'm so grateful to Bradley and all of them, Lynette, the producers, everybody there at Warner Brothers for giving me the opportunity. But watching Bradley direct and act at the same time, that was some other shit. Like,
What
that
was it
some other shit.
about what he was doing that stuck out to be able to do both of those?
Because my man's was like, for example, there's one scene where we're at the Greek Theater and they're about to perform. I think him and Stephanie got their first scene where they're gonna sing together or something. But Bradley is in character and giving me direction. So Bradley's like, with all his makeup flush, you know, we got his eyes glossy, right? Because he's supposed to be a little buzz on stage. And Bradley's like, with his guitar, he's like this. Bradley turns around at me, he's like, all right, so when she walks, you're just gonna wait a couple steps, and then you're just gonna give her some space, and you're gonna move past her, but just give her a window right here. He's giving me direction in the Southern accent, with the, like, and then he turns back around and just like hits it on stage, and they crush it, and then they call cut, and then he goes to the monitor immediately. And he goes to, they bring him the monitor, and then Bradley's watching playback on the monitor like this, after he just did that take. And I'm just like, yo, this guy's different, man. Wow. This dude is different. And I think watching him do that, I haven't directed anything yet, but watching him do that made me want to start. I started producing and directing's next. He made me want to direct. Wow. Like seeing him do that, I was like, nah, yeah, I gotta get busy. Like, look at this, like, I'm like, man.
Right, even seeing that, but all that you do, you know, from Broadway, acting, singing, writing, everything, multifaceted. What inspires you, or what's your biggest pivot? Which is that one moment you can look back on and say, because this happened to me or for me, is the reason I am who I am today.
I think my biggest pivot was, I was on the baseball field when I was 17. I was in the outfield, and I was playing summer ball. And I knew, like, I had been trying to keep this dream alive of being an athlete and being a baseball player. And like, all right, it's cool. If I don't make it to the major leagues, at least I'll play in college, and then I'll be a baseball coach. And, you know, you gotta be a health teacher to be a baseball coach, so I'll take health classes, and I fucking hated science. You know what I'm saying? You know, and finally I'm like, I'm in the outfield, and I'm just like, this ain't it. This ain't it. I gotta pursue this thing that I know. I don't know a lot about this, but I know how it makes me feel. I know what it makes me feel like to be on stage. I know what that feels like. Right. Even if I feel ridiculous wearing too much makeup, which, my teacher, she put me in a bunch of makeup on stage, and I didn't even have to wear it. She had me on the eyeliner and all blush and shit. I'm like, they could see my face, bro.
Bitch, I got freckles.
Yeah, she was. What the fuck? She's like, you know, they're gonna help you see your eyes. I said they can see my eyes. But you know, I didn't, you know, whatever. I was like, you know, I'm wearing this blanket for a cloak because I'm playing Zeus in this musical, The Students' Row, with the Burger King crowns. I don't know if y'all remember them, that they used to be on top of the seats. But I just felt this joy, man, when I was on stage, and I think it was just that moment in the outfit where I was just like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't my life. And there was a few pivots in there. I mean, it was just a few of them, like, you know, like, and saying yes in those moments where I didn't feel comfortable. You know, I didn't feel comfortable doing a Shakespeare monologue for this audition. I didn't feel comfortable singing this musical theater song for my first audition, for the only performing arts school that I ever auditioned for, you know, and I didn't feel comfortable, you know, sharing my life story with this woman who I don't know, you know, but it was just all these moments where it's like, yeah, this is what I want to do, but I got to pivot from my plan. My plan is not the best plan here.
Right.
God's plan for me right now is the best plan, and I have to pivot from my plan, because if I stick to this one, I might not get what's intended for me.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And there were multiple moments like that, but I think that was probably the beginning of the, just like, I never showed up to a game. I didn't show up to a game. That coach was tight.
He should have been.
Yeah, he was
can't
pissed.
quit.
I quit, yeah. And I kept the uniform.
When you guys came out with Ironheart, which was around the time I met you, it's the reason, it's how I met you.
G23, right?
Yeah, it's how I met you. And there were kind of, what they call it, review bombing.
Yeah.
Right, review bombing because of the black female who was the superhero. When you go into sort of a project like that, and it's being sort of torpedoed in that way, what's the reaction of all the people who are a part of it, and how do you support each other as something like that's released?
We're proud of it. That's the thing, right? Like, and I get to see people on the street be like, yo,
It was so dope.
Ironheart, love that shit.
So dope.
When season 2. Like, the reviewers could say whatever they want, right? People could be racist, they could be prejudiced, they could be whatever the fuck they want to be. But at the end of the day, that's the projects I want to be a part. I want to be a part of the ones where y'all like, jarred. What? They hired this person for what? Dominique Thorne is a beast, bro. That woman is, yo, she's so talented, she's hardworking, she's beautiful, she's smart.
Smart. Yeah.
Everything her character is. And I'm like, yeah, she should be the superhero. No brainer. She's black, she's a woman. Yes, she is. So deal with it. So many black women out here that are smart, beautiful, all that, right? And yes, they should have a hero to look at like that, you know? You know, like Letitia Wright, and like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think people, it's tough for people. Like when we did Transformers, all them lead characters were white, bro. All white boys from like, I don't know where Shia LaBeouf from and Mark Wahlberg from, you know, Massachusetts. And look, they're both great actors. Like I'm a fan of both of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, it was a pivot.
Yeah.
For Lorenzo and for those guys to be like, yeah, Anthony Ramos. Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, Dominique Fishback to play the lead.
What was that? You talking about when he was fast and sleepy?
Oh, which one? Oh, what, the scene?
Whatever, yeah. You kept take your ass to bed. I'm like, man, get your ass up, bro.
We were doing a night shoot and I couldn't stay awake, bro. We had to reshoot that shit. That's the only time, hey, for the record, for anybody that working with me, that never happens, okay? This is a one-shot deal. Crazy. Don't even strike that from the record.
My bad. No way I read that. Yeah.
I dead ass I couldn't keep it together.
You were working too hard. Bob the Builder, ain't he?
Yeah, Bob the Builder, we producing that now.
What's that like though, animation?
I love it, man. I love animated movies. I've been blessed to be a part of, you know, animated franchise in Bad Guys and Bad Guys 2 and in Trolls 2. And, You know, and now with Bob the Builder, we've been developing this for a few years now, and when I told them my concept for the movie, I was like, I don't know, we'll see what happens, you know, Mattel, and then they were like, we love it, and I was like, fire, amazing, you know, because I feel like we have something, we can do something really special with this animated movie, and it's like, what is Bob building? Who is Bob the Builder? Why? What is he building? Like, why is he building? For what? And he's not just building buildings, and he's not just building construction sites or whatever, or like at construction. He's building communities. Mm-hmm. He's building up young people, right? That's what he's building. So how do we bring all of those things together? Mm-hmm. All of those things are encompassing in that story, and we get to really see Bob in a different way than we did in the cartoons, you know, and I'm just really excited for people to be like, damn, I didn't know I was gonna feel that after Bob the Builder. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know.
That's also the cool thing with animated movies, though. You get to make them what you want. It's what your creativity can be.
And we get to set the movie in Puerto Rico, you know, and you know, you think about Puerto Rico, and you know, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Bioluminescent bays, the most beautiful beaches, but it's also, right, like, it's like, when I went there during Hurricane Maria, or after, I went 3 months after Hurricane Maria, it was like, what were people doing? They were rebuilding, right? And there was this one woman that she kept saying, ¿Quién dice no se pueden? ¿Quién dice no se pueden? She kept saying, like, who said we can't do this? Who said? Because FEMA was taking mad long to come up to the top of this mountain. So there's a bunch of us volunteers clearing out what used to be this old man's house. And like a refrigerator fell on me. I'm like, shit. You know, like, yo, spoiled milk, shit was crazy. But like, but yo, we're up there and we're doing this, and this woman keeps saying this. And what's the saying for Bob the Builder? Can we fix it? Yes, we can. Mm. And she's saying, who said we can't do it?
Wow.
Damn.
That was like the spark for the idea for the movie, you know, and I was like, what if we did this, and what if we did that, and you know, like, and you know, it was inspired by things that have happened, but it was, you know, also a lot of it made up, but that struck me. I was like, yo, like, yeah, we're not just building a house here, we're not just building a building, we're not building a beautiful landscape, we're building community, we're building people up, so that they know that, yo, not only did we build this, it's not about us building it, right? The building was only the first thing, the first step. The real thing is the maintaining of it. Mm-hmm. Is us maintaining our relationships with each other and maintaining this community so we can maintain what we've built.
Right.
Man, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen a ton of your work. You know, we've texted a few times. This was way, way better than I could have ever imagined, bro. Like, to get the real you, to not have to see you be who you are based on a script or who you are based on the song you've written, but just truly get to experience, man, like this sort of conversation with you, dog. It was amazing. And I'm truly, truly grateful, brother. Thanks, appreciate you,
Thanks
fam.
for having me, man.
Nah, no doubt.
Incredible, man.
Hey,
Incredible.
Hey, they gonna be like, the boy from Hamilton act like that? Hey, they gonna be like,
I know what my boy's gonna be like.
Hey, they gonna be like, Twisters?
The whole time I'm
They
sitting
be
there
like,
thinking, like,
Twisters?
That's the guy. That's the dude with the tight pants and the fucking polo.
He didn't act like that in Twisters.
Channing be hitting the bevel on these pictures.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only bitch I can trust. Trust, limitless, niggas to me got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.